There was a time in World War II when soldiers and civilians alike were battling the cold as fiercely as the enemy. And in that frozen crucible, a bizarre little invention quietly made life livable. So effective, it was banned by the very governments who had allowed it in the first place. I'm talking about a tin can heater, a low-tech marvel that could warm entire rooms with almost nothing. Stick around, because by the end, you'll know why this outlawed device was once considered too dangerous to exist, and why its principles could still inspire modern survival strategies. This wasn't some gimmicky stove you find in a backyard camping kit. The World War II tin can heater was ingeniously simple. Soldiers and civilians could assemble it from scrap metal and fuel leftovers, often just a discarded can, sand, and some solid fuel tablets. Once lit, it produced a surprisingly steady, intense heat. The brilliance of it was in its design. By controlling airflow and containing the fire in a small, enclosed space, it prevented flames from spreading while maximizing warmth. Entire rooms, cramped bunkers, and makeshift shelters could feel almost cozy, even in the dead of winter. What made it particularly remarkable was the efficiency. In a time when resources were scarce and winters merciless, the ability to convert a handful of fuel into hours of heat was a game-changer. People could huddle around these can heaters, drying clothes, warming rations, and even keeping frostbite at bay. It was survival engineering at its most elegant, cheap, portable, and lethal to the cold. The story gets stranger. You might think the military would have loved such a tool, but authorities soon realized that this little heater wasn't just a convenience. It was a liability. The intense heat and open flame, even in a controlled setup, posed risks in barracks, storage rooms, and underground shelters. The real kicker was its potential for sabotage. A determined soldier could, with a small modification, turn one of these heaters into a rudimentary incendiary device. That alone sent governments scrambling to restrict its use. Bans didn't always stop people. Word spread through underground networks, black market manuals, and whispered instructions. Soldiers in freezing outposts and resistance fighters in occupied territories found ways to keep their tin can heaters alive. It became part of the survival lore, an ingenious tool that flirted with danger but delivered life-saving warmth. The secret wasn't just in the can or the fuel, it was in the technique. Users would pack the can with a heat-retaining medium, often sand or small stones, which absorbed and radiated warmth long after the flame had burned down. Tiny vents allowed air in to feed the fire while letting heat escape evenly. Positioning the can in the center of a room or surrounded by reflective metal sheets multiplied its effect. People learned to combine it with natural insulation, thick blankets, mud walls, or even straw-filled mattresses. The result was astonishing. Spaces that should have been bone-chilling became survivable. There are reports from the harsh Eastern Front, where soldiers claimed that a single tin can heater could sustain a squad of men through nights that would otherwise have been fatal. The warmth wasn't luxurious, but it was enough to keep morale and bodies intact. There's more here than just historical curiosity. The tin can heater embodies a survival principle every prepper and history enthusiast should understand. Ingenuity over complexity. You don't always need high-tech gear to solve life or death problems. Small, resourceful solutions often outperform expensive, complicated systems when the stakes are survival. Even today, understanding airflow, insulation, and radiant heat can help build emergency heat sources if modern utilities fail. A can, a bit of sand, and controlled fuel can become a lifeline. It's also a lesson in risk management. While the tin can heater was efficient, it required respect. Overconfidence could, and did, cause fires. Heat is more than just a physical need. It's a mental lifeline. Soldiers and civilians alike reported that gathering around a warm tin can heater restored a sense of normalcy amidst chaos. A warm room could mean the difference between hope and despair. This small device, overlooked by history books, provided not just comfort but a psychological boost in extreme conditions. In survival, that mental edge is just as critical as any tactical advantage. Despite its effectiveness, the tin can heater disappeared from mainstream memory. Bans, the rise of standardized military equipment, and the chaos of post-war reconstruction pushed it into obscurity. But remnants of its design survived in DIY guides, military journals, and oral histories. Today, historians and survivalists who dig deep can rediscover it, an elegant, almost outlawed secret that kept people alive when the world had gone mad. For modern viewers, there's a lesson here. History isn't just about battles and politics. It's about survival, innovation, and human ingenuity under pressure. This little heater is a window into a time when life was fragile, resources were scarce, and every spark of heat counted. If you love uncovering hidden survival hacks from history, the story of the banned World War II tin can heater is a must-know. It's practical, instructive, and a perfect example of turning scarcity into advantage. From its clever airflow system to its heat-retaining medium, every detail is a lesson in real-world preparedness. And don't just let it sit as trivia. Let it inspire your own survival thinking. Whether you're prepping for emergencies, studying historical ingenuity, or just fascinated by human resilience, there's wisdom here that transcends time. So, if you've enjoyed this dive into World War II's hidden survival secrets, make sure to subscribe to History's Survival Code for more. Share this story with anyone who loves history, survival, or clever hacks that actually worked, because the more people know these secrets, the better prepared we all can be when the cold, or chaos, comes knocking.